So here, I got
insane
different setup going on now. Let me share this.
wow
Okay, so this is what we got going on here. This is what we got going on here. The screen seems kind of bluish. I don't know why I'm getting that bluish hue. The bluish hue. Okay, so I got a different setup going, guys, and I mean, when I'm looking at it with my eyes, it's not blue.
You've got questions?
So,
We've got answers.
oh, they got
Deep
answers.
automotive knowledge.
I need some answers,
Just
that's for
one
sure.
part.
I need some answers, people. What's that say?
looks like people have been arrested or hurt or what crazy
Let me see. Let me see if I can get down here and see what this guy, my laptop, is that any clearer? Oh, the laptop's so much clearer. I guess I gotta work on the color of my, whoa. I gotta work on a color, scheme on that TV. I had to hook up my thing to the different TV, but at least I got it on 2 different screens, so I can kind of go up, you can get an idea. Whoa, what's going on there? Oh, guys.
at this point. I expect some fatalities at one point.
That's what
Let's
I
hope
was
not
saying.
to.
I was
Hi,
saying.
Jonathan Avery. Hi, Jonathan. How are you?
Jonathan. Look at what's happening to this girl. Look at this young girl.
Absolute chaos.
God, that could be one of our kids right there, guys. What the hell? It just seems like a young girl. Is that my daughter? My daughter looks like that, I swear to God.
Arrest.
Let me see, get another shot of her. She's got sunglasses on. Oh no. What is that about, guys? What is that really about? I'm sorry. And there's somebody else here. These look like some white people getting in trouble here.
They'll probably be released tonight.
You think? This guy thinks they're going to be released tonight. I don't know. Alright, let me see. I don't know what I did with my stand, guys. But see the setup I got going on? We got 2 different things. I used to use that old-fashioned camera like I showed you all the other day. So these are the troublemakers, not the ones carrying the damn Palestinian flags? I don't know, guys. You tell me. You tell me. Alright, guys, I'm trying to set up my thing again. I had to move everything around. Everything around. I got my speaker up there. Let's see how I can do this. I need a better stand. I used to have a good one that you could just bend around.
3 more hours to sunset.
Okay, so they're saying 3 hours till sunset. Take their word for it. Like I say, this is for entertainment purposes only. We're getting some other people's ideas in here. I cannot condone or deny any of this talk. Like I say, I'm just trying to let you guys know what's going on today. Because, ow, son of a bitch, I have nothing better to do since my husband is not able to call me for some reason. He's the one that's locked up in a prison, not these people causing this chaos in the streets of California. Still firing. Alright, let's see if we can zoom in now. Got two different views. I'll put it a little bit lower here. This is gonna be perfect, y'all. Hello. I'll use the standard moderator. Oh, it said I made you a standard moderator. I don't know what that means. Welcome, Fact. Fact over lies. I don't know how, but for some reason I was able to text you all some messages and in the chat as well. Now I'm not, don't seem to be able to do that. Like I say, once I get that other thing going on, chat filter, top messages, all messages,
They
show.
managed to get them off the 101, off that ramp. Now they're back up on the street there by the Metropolitan Detention Center. But where does the crowd go? They literally have 3 hours to disperse this crowd before it starts getting dark. I think the crowd's going to get very violent tonight.
This guy, look out, this guy's thinking, everybody. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be mean. I think they're getting some good footage here. Now they're going to change it on me after I got it all straightened away.
And this has continued. Face to face, up this on-ramp, CHP slowly marching his people back and away from the 101. They want to regain control of the roadway. The officers are still in tactical gear down on the surface itself, getting ready for containment so they can hopefully open this back up to vehicle
Whoa,
traffic,
look at that.
which has been stopped now for at least an hour as we have been on the air here. The northbound side was open for a time as the southbound side was overtaken, but now both sides have been shut down for some time as the CHP is trying to regain control. All of this is happening as large crowds gather in other portions of downtown, including outside the federal building, the Roybal Detention Facility, where detainees have been brought throughout this weekend.
Federal building. Why aren't they turning in those affidavits over there?
And confrontations, and
Start wondering where our children are. That's what I wonder.
Really quick before we hit the top of the hour, one last check with
These illegals are probably the ones nabbing up our children.
Yeah, Jerry, we're keeping an eye on the scene at the federal building and the scene on the freeway. The scene at the federal building appears to be pretty static, and it has been since that motorcycle situation that we saw where 2 motorcycles breached the skirmish line. 2 people were taken into custody there. The motorcycles may have hit a couple of officers there and caused minor injuries to officers who were treated at the scene, and those officers are in stable condition there. We believe those were LAPD officers. So we're keeping an eye on the scene at the federal building, and we're keeping an eye on this large scene on the Aliso ramp to the 101. Large crowd there. It looks to be a couple hundred people, but CHP has been successful in their efforts to clear the protesters off the 101 freeway. So unknown how much longer the 101 freeway will be closed, probably for another few minutes as CHP maybe gets these people further up the off-ramp and completely onto the ramp. And you see another person taken into custody there as a couple things are thrown at officers, and that person may be getting a little too pushy with the officers. That's that person earlier with the green cap with the American flag. So one person being taken into custody there, a little scuffle happening a little further up the ramp here, and in situations like these where you see projectiles being thrown at officers and things being thrown around, sometimes you see those smoke grenades being thrown out by these.
They got a peace sign. You see that peace sign, guys?
Ready to forcefully push these crowds back as you see things get a little bit pushy, a little bit tense.
Okay, here we have Ellie.
Oh, we got the mayor!
Finals will continue.
We got the mayor!
Cover this on stream.
Protest, that's their First Amendment right.
Ah!
People should also exercise that right peacefully. We do not want to play into the administration's hands. We're working with officials, we're organizing resources, but what we're seeing in Los Angeles is chaos that is provoked by the administration. When you raid
What?
Home Depot and workplaces, when you tear parents and children apart,
What?
and when you run armored caravans through our streets, you cause fear and you cause panic. And
Whoa,
deploying
are they
federalized
ripping
troops
families
is a
apart?
dangerous
Really?
escalation. But we need to be real about this.
Hello.
This is about another agenda. It's not about public safety. There's clearly no plan, and there's clearly no policy.
Oh, she's calling out the
I want people
government.
in Los Angeles to know that we stand with all Angelenos, no matter where you were born. The First Amendment right gives you the ability, again, to protest peacefully. But it does not give you the right to be violent, to create chaos, or to vandalize property. And that will not be tolerated. So I call on all Angelenos to continue expressing your right, your anger, your outrage, but to do it peacefully. And I just
Like,
have to
maybe
say
you
that
can do
all
it
of
by
you were
making
there
a
Friday.
cartoon,
Everybody
right?
knows what happened
And doing it
Friday.
that way?
A workplace, several workplaces were targeted and raids took place. Now, in the beginning, the administration said they were just looking for dangerous felons, violent people. It's hard to say that that's what they found.
It's hard to know if a felon is the violent person when they're arresting innocent people and they're political prisoners.
It sends a sense of fear and chaos in our city. And you well remember a few years ago in the last administration that kids were afraid to go to school, parents were afraid to go to work. This impacts all of our city. You can't terrify the workforce, and then expect for people to get the jobs done. So if you think about a father that went into a factory and now his family doesn't know where he is, the detainees have not been allowed to speak to legal counsel. That is a marked departure
Oh,
from what
really?
has happened in the past.
We'd
When
like
you
to
think
speak
of a
with
mother
counsel
that might be
about our
working in a
children
household, taking
disappearing
care of
from
children
our
on another
care.
side of town, that impacts that family.
I'm gonna have
as
to
well
change
as her
this.
family. And so this is something that I think should not be happening in our city.
Yeah, well, there you go. So what she's thinking? Look out, she's thinking, guys. Okay, let's see what's going on here. I mean, I want to not try to get my blood pressure up, am I right? Sometimes you gotta get through these
Nuance
commercials.
Audio is the new invisible hearing solution built into your glasses.
Come on. Oh, then I gotta watch.
Birthday party.
Where I get it?
Birthday princess party. Birthday princessosaurus party. Get everything for every party on Amazon.
And here to live now from Fox. I'm
Wouldn't
Andy
let
back
me
just about
forward it.
2:30 on the West Coast as we're following the latest with the protests and demonstrations against ICE, the immigration enforcement operations in Southern California. Law enforcement, of course, you can see behind this vehicle, and there's other protesters trying to gather some images of sound and plenty of people. So again, viewer discretion is advised as we're watching this unfold on the streets of Los Angeles. These anti-ICE protests are taking place right now, and we do not want it to lead to violence. I don't think really anyone does. We've heard from Governor Gavin Newsom that says, don't give President Trump what he wants in terms of this, stay peaceful. Protests in a way that is peaceful and non-violent, but unfortunately some of these happen to take place. I just want to ask you, you're on the ground, there are tense moments between protesters, between law enforcement, between anti-ICE demonstrators and different members. Can I ask just kind of what are the conversations like on the ground about this? Because
Wonder who this is,
law
guys.
enforcement trying to do their job, but they're trying to also potentially move people out of the street to block a street, cars coming and going. Can you just describe what we're seeing right now?
Look at this lady over there.
You have a perimeter around the officers that have this person on the ground to effect the arrest and get him secured. As that arrest is happening, you're seeing protesters and people with signs starting to converge on that arrest. So those police officers want to keep those protesters back, so they're not involving themselves in this arrest. So it's going to help keep them from getting arrested, but more importantly, to keep them safe from whoever they're arresting. I mean,
Whoa.
the guy looks like an agitator and a bad actor.
There he is.
And they certainly took care of him, but they want to keep everybody safe as that arrest is happening.
And viewer discretion is advised because this is potentially escalating in a direction.
Yeah, I put
we
it
don't
on.
want,
This is not
our
for
viewers
kids.
just to
This is
tune
not
in
for
and see
kids,
something
guys.
violent like this unfold. And we saw different gas canisters, tear gas, different non-lethal. Can you describe some of the tactical gear, what some of these individuals and law enforcement have at their disposal to disperse some of these crowds in a non-violent way?
Absolutely, but before we get into that, if you take a look at the guy we just arrested, he had a motorcycle helmet on, some type of a helmet apparatus. So he went there for no reason to get in trouble. But as far as law enforcement, we're going to be equipped with tasers, bean bags, paintball bullets, which really have hurt. I mean, those things are hurtling down the road when you shoot them out of those paintball guns. They're also going to be equipped with OC spray. And that's an irritant spray. We've seen that from time to time over the last 24 hours of that cloud of smoke, if you will. So you will hear that popping noise. That is a OC spray going off into the crowd to help disperse the crowd. So, and then the other thing is, we're seeing a lot of these officers carry long guns. You just don't know what's going to happen in a situation like that. So they have the less lethal out using it, but they also have a backup in terms of a real weapon, as we see a lot of these guys carrying around their chest and necks.
And I can't reiterate enough the viewer discretion aspect of this, because you see some of those different bean bags or paintball guns or the tear gas disposal units where they're just tossing them at these. I also want to ask you, because we see different people with cameras, and now in this day and age, everyone has a camera, whether you're on the phone or not, and we have different members of the media on there. How much of a balance is it as law enforcement, because you have to let the journalists do their job as well? What kind of balance do law enforcement have to do about that?
Yeah, I was up in Minneapolis for a short time during that incursion up there. And I'm going to suggest to you that most of the cops that are out, that we're seeing on this front line, they're okay with the journalists. They're okay with the cameras. And I'm going to tell you why. We've seen this over the past several years in the Parliament, defund the police, the brutality, the excessive use of force. So, these journalists, they're literally protecting both protesters and law enforcement to document exactly what's happening in real time. So, I don't think there are any cops or federal agents on the ground that has a problem with that, and it's probably encouraged because, like I said, it's protecting everyone involved, so there are no allegations later.
Yeah, that makes sense, and I just want to ask that because there's just so many you can see on the right-hand portion of your screen. I believe that is all media. Potentially one of our cameras is down there on the ground as well. I believe you can see there. This is the vantage point that they are gathering as well. Just in terms of strategy or tactical measures by police, are they looking at areas to come together? They're obviously all back-to-back here trying to close off this street. How much of a game plan do they have, a blueprint of where they want to go or where they don't want protesters to go?
Well, listen, I'm certain that undercover agents may have been or in the crowd, so they're kind of listening to that internal chatter from the protesters to gather intelligence. You're going to have helicopters that are flying orbits to monitor the crowd to see whether they're ingressing and digressing. And then here's the caveat of that. You're going to have a lot of National Guard soldiers that are in a standby situation, staging in case that crowd breaks loose from that perimeter so they can quickly respond and clean it off again. And like I said earlier, they're contained with this two-red area, so it's not spread amongst the entire city. Then you're going to have really serious chaos.
Yeah, when we're looking at these images, we're talking about California National Guard members being deployed. Are these California Guard National members? Are these local law enforcement? Can you glean anything from what they're wearing, what they look like? Who are they associated with potentially?
Yeah, if you look at the screen now, what we're watching the live shot, that line of law enforcement folks, those are going to be the emergency response team from the local police.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Whoops, those are locals.
All the green camouflage that we saw earlier staging by the Veterans Administration building. So, there's
Yeah, because I seen the National Guard, and they're wearing like a tan. See what else we got going on. Riots. I had to turn it away from that one. I can't listen to that lady. Look at Dale's Donuts. Look at guys. I see that? Got that guy's face in the middle. Let's see what's this going on.
The reason I went to movie,
Well, this has been an exciting day. We already did it over an hour live earlier. And I guess I can skip this now. Had a little technical difficulties. This one's got plenty of different screens. And then you got this one over here. Oh, well, we did. Look at that. It's not keeping... It's trying to do too much, maybe. Oh, here's something. Some different views. Some excitement right there. This is too much to keep up with there. What else we got going on? And again, I wish we could get this much attention. Oh, look at this. What's he saying? 7 months ago. I said Tanawa down, and he's getting down there, and I mean, at least he's not sitting on his butt. He's getting out there and doing something. Is this live? No, this is 17 hours ago, guys. That's a good, some good footage, though. What else? I gotta get away from that one lady. Huge siren. Tornado chasing. What's been going on in there? That's some excitement. That says it's live. Nice. Love me a storm, guys. Love me a storm. Texas. Oh, so it says Monday. There's gonna be severe storms in Texas. I wonder why it's not cooperating with me. Oh, here's Jeff Mack. Oh, they're not even beginning yet. They got the coffee with the hooligans. Another good recommendation I'm giving to them. We got the Storm Chasers. What's happening now? ABC. Entering Pakistan on the brink of war. Total chaos. Massive protests outside of an ICE detention center. That's a day ago. Okay, this is another live thing. Let's see.
Is private student loan debt wrecking your
life? I mean, you got much commercials in our life. Here we go. All right, we're gonna wrap this up in a little bit. I gotta plug this phone in. Oh, look at that, guys. That's what it looked like my TV earlier. Well, they sure don't have any good footage. Wow. What's happening there, huh? People on the streets believe it. Oh, that's that guy on the bicycle. Well, he's not doing nothing but playing with his bicycle right now. That guy, he screams. I mean, sometimes it's good, but I mean, I don't want too much screaming in my life. Oh, look at that. Can anybody see this right here? Wow. Delicious. This says it's live. What we got here? We're getting a nice footage here. Let me turn this up. Let's see what kind of sound we got. Where that other phone is. Sometimes I don't know if they can hear the ring of that other phone. Okay. I moved that whole other TV out of there. I'm like, what the fuck happened to that? It has done that before. Like, I'm surprised it hasn't acted up for a long time. But of course, it's right when you decide you're gonna take something. I don't know, it's coming out pretty good like I got it now though, because it's got, you see the two different screens. I know, good excited about it.
You need parts? We got parts. Product availability. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart.
Oh, sorry about that, guys. This is O'Reilly's Auto Parts. So I shared it with Facebook that it's live on Facebook, but I have to figure out how to attach it to my other site.